Coco Gauff is off to a perfect start at the Miami Open after a dominating win yesterday, and she looked good doing it. Earlier this week, the 21-year-old Grand Slam winner went up the road to her hometown of Delray Beach in Florida. Skylar Henry met up with the tennis superstar to learn more about the community and the park that helped shape her life.
Delray Beach loves Coco Gauff. And the feeling is mutual.
We're gonna do 2 lines.
We visited the public courts at Pompey Park in the heart of the city where Gauff grew up honing her game with her father.
It does bring back memories, just spending how much time we spent out here and 2-a-days and just literally just me and my dad and a bucket of balls.
These courts were the launching pad for the 21-year-old tennis star. And it's what inspired her latest shoe, the Coco Delray, named for her hometown.
The values that you felt were instilled in you from a place like this. Tell me about it.
This court we're on I had countless of practices out here, just me and my dad, and very familiar people who've seen me out here since I was like 7 years old that are here today and that I see all the time.
It's the type of place that's tight-knit and from early on knows their tennis.
It feels like I was not too long ago in their position, just out here. And
now Gauff is dominating on sports' biggest courts. She burst onto the scene in 2019 after defeating her role model Venus Williams at Wimbledon at just 15 years old. Then in 2023, she won the U.S. Open, her first Grand Slam title. And last year at the Paris Olympics, she was one of the flag bearers for Team USA. Fiery, confident with a strong backhand. That's how you could describe her game. She's ranked number 3 in the world in women's singles.
Is it safe to say that this year hasn't started the way you wanted to?
yeah, I mean, this year at first it started off great. I won United Cup and then quarter in Australia, and obviously the last couple tournaments haven't gone that great. I lose a few tournaments and then I win like a huge one, and I don't know, I feel like you don't have success without failure, so it just gives me more opportunity to get better and figure out what I need to do.
A work in progress, she'll admit. Like most people, Gauff travels most of the year playing at tournaments, but coming home to South Florida is a welcomed reset.
It's nice to just have family in the stands, and I grew up playing a lot of local tournaments. Florida's like basically a tennis capital of the world.
One person in her family you'd catch in the stands, her grandmother, Yvonne Lee Odom.
There's no town like Delray Beach, Florida.
And it's even a family affair in Gauff's new shoe ad.
You know, tennis isn't just a game. It's a lot like life.
This child has introduced to me the things that I never would have dreamed in my lifetime.
The tables have turned for the grandmother-granddaughter duo.
She likes to say that she was famous before me.
Oh, yeah, because it used to be in the city, oh, that's Miss Odom granddaughter.
Yes.
Now it's, oh, that's Coco grandma. And I told her, look, I was famous before you.
Well, she was. Gma, as Gauff affectionately calls her, is known around Delray Beach. She was a teacher and civil rights trailblazer. She helped integrate Delray Beach Public Schools 60 years ago.
I'm just really happy just to still be able to celebrate my grandma and give her flowers while she's here. She's been through a lot.
Family is at the core of Gauff's game, and it's because of places like this, through community and connection.
Okay, go again, go again.
Strengthening a foundation for tennis's biggest moments.
Great hit.
For CBS Mornings, I'm Skylar Henry in Delray Beach, Florida.
I love her grandma.
I
Miss
love her
Yvonne.
grandma, and
You're still famous, Miss Yvonne.
Yes, you are. But I love Coco, too. I love when she said it was me and my dad and a bucket of balls. And I really am excited about the shoe. I wanted to show it to you, but I was told I couldn't show you the shoe. But it's yellow and it's cute. It's really, really nice. I can't wait to put it on.
I like
but
that.
bravo, 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 Coco
I like a New
Gauff.
Balance myself personally.
Yes,
it's a dad
me
shoe.
too.
It's a dad shoe. I
Yeah,
love it.
dad
They may not
shoe.
want that messaging out there. But
I'm
it's a dad
still
shoe.
nice and young, Tony. I'm
It's
a
got
dad, but I'm still
style.
youthful.
I love that moment, though, when you won and you fell down on the ground. In that moment, what are you thinking? Because are you aware that I'm just 1 point away, 1 point away, 1 point away?
Yeah, honestly, I'm aware of it, but I try not to think about it because it makes me more nervous. And when you fall, it's really just relief that it's over, and then also you're just tired, too. So, yeah, I just kind of especially losing the first match point,
Yes.
felt like I was holding my breath the whole game, and then I could finally breathe.
And that's what I want to know about losing the first match point. how you still stay focused and stay motivated. One person wrote this about you: what poise that carries her through lapses and enables her to maintain her cool while opponents lose theirs.
Yeah, that first match point was crazy because she shanked it and I thought it was going out. So I kind of felt my heart rate spike up and like kind of getting ready to celebrate, and the ball went in. And then I was like, are you serious? And then I went down a break point, and then I don't know, I was just like, just give me one more chance. I was like, God, give me one more chance. I'll take advantage of it this time. Yeah. And I did.
After this win, you wrote something on Instagram that is fantastic for athletes, but I think it's applicable to anybody in life. You wrote, "Learned having doubt into your head is impossible to escape, but not impossible to overcome." Ooh. That is a bar.
Nate, that's good.
That is great. So the question I have, even at this point in your career, as talented as you are, you still have self-doubt, and then how do you get yourself out of those moments?
Yeah, I have a lot of self-doubt, and I'm very open about talking about it because I feel like a lot of people deal with that in everyday lives.
Yeah.
And yeah, I realized that I just try to redirect those into positive thoughts, even if you don't truly believe them. But eventually, when those moments are tough and you don't know your back is against the wall, you don't know where to lean on, you try to lean on the positivity and the belief. And I think that's what carried me through that match and honestly throughout the whole tournament.
Yeah.
And how does that carry you through moments like when Ariana Sablenka says that you only won because you made mistakes? I mean, you were so cool. We were talking about this earlier. You were so cool and graceful and gracious when you responded to a reporter's question about that.
Yeah.
But what goes through your mind and how do you feel inside?
Yeah, I mean, I was a little bit surprised, but at the end of the day, I mean, it was a tough conditions and a tough match. And for me, I know when I stepped on the court, I'm from Florida, I played in the wind a lot. And I know that when I play on a windy day, you're not going to win by hitting winners. You're not going to win by playing pretty tennis because the ball is moving, your footwork, everything is just feels like you're in space and you don't know what's happening. But yeah, I mean, honestly, and also when you're playing Irina, she's such a tough hitter, so you know she's going to hit winners. So you kind of have to make her make those mistakes. So I think everything that I did was for a reason and for a purpose. And yeah, that's how I needed to play today. I knew that mentally going on court, that's what I needed to do. And yeah, if it went her way, I would have credited her as well. So, but yeah, I think it was just high on emotions. So I'm giving her the benefit of doubt. I know it was a tough loss. I've lost in the Grand Slam final before. But yeah, overall, I am proud of
Coco.
myself.
Yeah, like you said, grace and gracious.
No doubt.
She did apologize,
Still.
we should say.
Yeah.
So that's fascinating to me because you came in as this young woman, a girl essentially, playing with these pros. And I remember being a rookie in the NFL. And for a large part of my mindset was I was just happy to be there. And then a few years in, it sank in that I belong here.
Yeah.
And I started to hear more clearly what people were saying about me. And that turned like my perspective in competition. Do you feel that way now as a woman in this sport versus being a young lady in the sport?
Yeah, honestly, I think I started off believing that I belonged there. I had that, I feel like that youthful ignorance in a way. Then as I got on tour and more aware of social media, press, and things like that, I was like, well, maybe I don't belong. And I felt, there was a lot of comments about my game style and things like that. But, as I got older and realized, like, I've worked so hard off the court and on the court to be where I belong. And there's nothing easy. I had to go out there and win 7 matches like everyone else does.
No doubt.
And so I definitely realized that I definitely belong where I am, and especially having consistent results. I think I proved that more and more each tournament.
You make so many people so proud just watching you. And because I remember when you were a little kid and you started, and the thing that struck me was your family. I love that your family's here today.
They're all here.
Shout out to the crew.
Shout out to them.
When you
There they are.
won, you were looking in the stands. I just assumed that you were looking at them.
Yes.
I love that your mom was telling me that she listens to gospel music. Your dad said he has to watch with the sound down.
Yes.
What does it mean to have them by your side, and how crucial are they to you doing what you do, the way that you do it?
Yeah, they're the reason I am doing what I do, and having that support system I think is so important, especially playing tennis and being on tour since I was 15 and still developing. And I'm 21, but I still have a lot more of life to learn and things
Yes,
like
you do.
that.
Yes.
So just to have them there and be able to do that means a lot. And this time I really wanted to look at their reaction because at US Open, I saw it all on TikTok and Instagram. So this time I was like, let me look at the box so I can actually see the people reacting with my own eyes.
Yeah.
Well, Coco.
Where are you going now, Coco? Where are you going? What do you get to do?
Home and then getting ready for Wimbledon, yeah.
There we go. Well, we appreciate you. We're such big fans And you're only 21. Sheesh, they better watch out. Coco Gauff, the
So many
champ.
more to win.
Now we're going to begin this hour with another exclusive interview with one of the greatest athletes of all time, Serena Williams. The tennis legend is showing off a new talent, golf, in this year's Michelob Ultra Super Bowl commercial. Here's a look.
Well, we're waiting.
Only on CBS Mornings, we sat down with Serena Williams for a wide-ranging conversation about tennis and her family, what's she doing these days, and we caught up with her and her husband, Alexis Ohanian, on their farm in Florida for a glimpse of their lives, or her life specifically, after tennis.
Be the ball.
What does it take to get Serena Williams to do a Super Bowl commercial?
Well,
What
it's
does
not.
it take?
So first of all, I have to have a genuine like for the product, right? Second of all, like what are you doing outside of that? Is there something special? And that's what I love about Michelob Ultra. They really are really animate about making sure there's gender equality when it comes, equity, I should say, when it comes to male and female, in particular women athletes and men athletes. So this
That's
is
reflected in that commercial, too.
It is reflected in that commercial, and this is the second year in a row that they have the same number of female athletes or women athletes as they do male athletes.
When I looked at the commercial, Serena, and the way you swung the golf club, and I remember the Vogue letter, and you said you're not retiring, you're transitioning and evolving. Is this your way of telling us you're evolving into golf? Because you certainly had the outfit ready.
I am 100% not evolving into golf.
I last met up with Serena Williams at her final U.S. Open. She has changed the game in so many ways. You know, the day after the U.S. Open, and you wake up and you're done with tennis, as we know it in that form. What was that morning like? Because I woke up that morning thinking, I wonder what Serena's doing. I wonder how Serena is feeling.
That's a really good question. No one's asked me that yet. I was actually not very happy at all, just because of the result. I was there to keep going and to keep winning. And yeah, it was more or less like, I can't believe I let that match go more than anything. You know, obviously it was a great moment and a great memory, and I don't feel like I've left anything, but I just felt like, what could I have done better that day?
When Serena revealed her decision to step away from tennis in Vogue last year, she wrote this: "If I have to choose between building my tennis resume and building my family, I choose the latter." She also shared that her daughter Olympia wants to be a big sister.
To this day, she's like, now she prays.
Praise for
Now she prays for a sibling. She's like, and the other day she's like, everyone has a brother or a sister but me. And I'm like, Olympia, I'm working on it. Mommy worked a little too long in tennis, so it's taking a little longer than expected. But yeah.
And so now that it's been a minute since you've been off the tennis court, you said you still like to win, you still are a competitor.
Yeah.
So what does winning look like to you these days?
Winning to me, just picking out the best deals to invest in, you know.
And the tennis champion's venture capital firm, it's called Serena Ventures, is focused on funding founders with diverse backgrounds.
We need people like me. We need women writing the checks, because I really am a big believer in like attracts like.
Investing is something Serena and her husband, Alexis Ohanian, founder of venture capital firm 776 and social site Reddit, have in common. These days, a couple spends their time here at their South Florida farm, where they grow fruits and vegetables and raise chickens. Serena, do you want to pick one up?
I've never touched them.
A mini horse that their daughter Olympia named Daisy, and a steer named
Antonio Enrique Cortez Leche.
Serena. That's the name of the cow?
I missed a couple of them.
Antonio who?
Antonio for Antonio Banderas.
Okay.
Enrique for Enrique Iglesias. Cortez, because it was we were watching the Spy Kids movie.
Okay, yes.
And that was the last name in the Spy Kids movie.
So I let the kids do the
Just
naming.
call it Leche. Alexis, I don't know if you know this. The first time when I heard about you, Serena said, I said, oh, how's it going? Who are you dating? She goes, oh, I'm dating this tech nerd. You've probably never heard of him. That's what, do you remember saying that? She said, I'm dating this tech nerd. You probably never heard of him. I said, well, what's his name? And she said, your name. I go, I know him. He's great. He's actually one of the good guys.
I appreciate you vouching for me.
What makes this work, Alexis, for you? And Serena, what makes this work for you?
He is able to handle me.
Are you allowed to handle? Is she allowed to?
No, I'm very easy and I'm very relaxed and chill, but I'm somehow super intense and I like things really perfect.
Why does it work for you, this relationship?
Because I knew I had met someone that I was never going to outgrow. And more importantly, I knew I had met someone who was always going to explicitly, believe me sometimes, or implicitly challenge me to be better. She's a ride or die. And y'all don't see a lot of it because thankfully I don't do my work in public, but
She's ride or die?
1,000%.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
It's so lovely to sit here at the place you call the farm. The tennis court is right there. What do you think when you look at a tennis court now? I was wondering.
Yeah, in this particular tennis court, I see me out there. I see me training. I see me grinding.
So you can look at it, Serena, and not feel a pang of, oh.
I feel relief when I look at the court sometimes because...
Relief how?
I feel like I'm so happy I don't have to train for 2 hours a day. I feel more pain just like looking at old pictures.
Of yourself?
Looking at older pictures or championships or something like that. I'm like, oh, I miss that. Or that's when I feel like different.
Is the door open just a sliver?
It's hard to say. I would say no. Okay. For now, no, because it's just, I've literally given my whole life to tennis, and it's time for me to give my life to something else.
Yeah.
And then my dad is like, Serena, you should play one more slam. You should play like 2 more Grand Slams. And I'm like, Dad, like, stop.
Stop.
This is not.
But you know, I came across some old video. I'm going to run in this piece. It's the sweetest piece of video.
But don't hit that racket on the ground.
I was smashing my racket even back then.
You can play tomorrow, next year, and the year after that. What's important? What's important in your home? Family. Family's important? Then if family's important in your home, you shouldn't be out here getting disgusted because of a tennis ball, right?
Oh, that's so sweet.
Your little girl voice.
Yeah.
And that's why you wanted people to see King Richard, because we did get to see him in another light.
This is literally the light that was the truth. King Richard was absolutely true.
I know, and then King Richard had that moment at the Oscars. What did you feel about that?
I thought it was such an incredible film, and I feel that there was an incredible film after that with Questlove that kind of
was overshadowed.
But I also feel that I've been in a position where I've been under a lot of pressure and I've made a tremendous amount of mistakes, and I'm the kind of person that's like, I've been there, I've made a mistake, it's not the end of the world. We're all imperfect and we're all human, and let's just be kind to each other. And I think that's often forgotten a lot.
You tweeted recently, allowing yourself to relax was harder than you ever imagined.
Yeah.
It's hard to relax for you?
It's so hard for me to relax. I don't know how to relax.
Really?
I literally don't. Like, I have to schedule it in my schedule. I'm not kidding. I have to schedule relax or I won't do it. And I haven't had my schedule in a while, so I need to put it back in there.
Well, we were totally relaxed hanging out with Serena and her family that day. She also says if she'd been a man and was in the health that she's in, she'd probably still be playing tennis because she loves it so much, but family is also a very top priority. But I love that moment with her dad. I think it showed a different side of him that many people didn't really understand Richard Williams. She's totally in love with her father, and he's still calling and giving her tips about what she should do and how she should do it, but she's very happy. They're very happy together. And I loved Alexis's answer, too. He finally met someone that he couldn't outgrow.
Yeah.
Isn't that nice?
I'm going to text that to Katie later today. It's
that you look for in a partner. I thought it was very
They
sweet.
seem to have a nice rhythm.
They do. And they're working on, she says, we're working on it. And when it's time, she will share that, too.
I like the name she came up with for the cows as well. Very creative.
With a Spanish accent, too.
Not bad.
Nicely done.
All right.
Yeah. My talk of the table is tennis superstar Venus Williams. Love her. This 7-time Grand Slam winner, did you hear that? 7 times, has fought for women to get equal pay throughout her legendary career. Now, in honor of Women's History Month, Williams and her company, 11, are spearheading the Privilege Tax Initiative to draw attention to the gender pay gap. Listen to these numbers. White women in this country make 82 cents for every dollar men do. That men made in 2020, and the gap is even greater for women of color. Oh, no. During this campaign, people who buy something from participating companies can choose to donate $1 at checkout. 100%, did you get that part? 100% of the proceeds go to the nonprofit group Girls, Inc., which works to create more opportunities for girls. It's a great organization, and recently rightly honored Venus Williams, Tina Fey, and some others. Venus Williams, it's so good to see you. Hello, hello, hello. So you have been fighting this battle for...
Hi, everybody.
Good morning.
Oh.
You've been fighting this fight for a very long time. Did you have a "I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore" moment that you finally said, "Okay, that's enough"? Because I'm thinking about the letter that you wrote back in the Wimbledon days to say this ain't right.
Yeah, I came into inequality at the young age of 16 when I played my first Grand Slam, and that's a rude awakening. So I don't want any other young women to have to face that. And you had the stats up there. Women are earning 82% on the dollar, 82 cents the dollar that men are earning. And if you're a minority, if you're living out of the country of USA, then it gets even worse. So it's important to call attention to this, that people know this, because women not only need equal opportunity, but it gives them opportunity to grow and become strong and to help their families, and all these things are so important.
No, you wrote back in 2006 to the New York Times, "With power and status comes responsibility. Wimbledon has power and status. The time has come for them to do the right thing by paying men and women the same prize money." And you were the first woman, Venus, who got the same prize money as the man, Roger Federer at the time. What were your thoughts back then when that happened? Did you say, okay, finally, but we're still having this conversation?
Yeah, so exactly. It was a conversation we'd been having for 30 years, and we'd be rejected over 30 years, and we talked to the Grand Slam Committee. So many amazing things have happened since that time. I mean, recently we saw women's soccer garner equal pay, so that was a super exciting time. Now it's Women's History Month, and so it's a very important time to talk about this. And I've partnered with my activewear brand 11 to create an initiative called Privilege Tax, where we talk about this very subject. And we had some amazing partners like you had on the screen, Tracy Anderson, WTA Charities, Captivate, and I've also partnered with Credit Karma as well on this to make sure that companies that are giving resources, time, education to their managers, and make sure they're not hiring with biases, to make sure they're giving leadership opportunities to women. And I love that companies like Credit Karma have taken that opportunity to make that happen in their organization, but there's got to be more organizations. And people do want to do this, but it takes time. It doesn't happen overnight. So that's why we're talking about it, so people know and organizations can get involved.
Venus, how you doing? Nate Burleson here. I have to say this, as an NFL player, former NFL player, I would look up to you because you stood for so much more than your sport. You transcended tennis. And now, as a father of a young girl, I want to say I appreciate you because you are one of the women that I point to and tell her you can accomplish anything, not just what people tell you can do. But you also know that sexism isn't just a woman's issue. How can men get involved and help, change what is this gap in payment and wage?
Absolutely, and I'm so excited to partner with Girls, Inc., a national organization that helps girls to be bold and strong, and girls need to know that they have these same opportunities, and it's just so important that this happens. So I'm very excited, and I forgot part of the question now. So what was the second part? I'm so sorry.
How can men be allies?
What are we talking about?
Yeah, how can men be allies?
Absolutely.
How can we get involved with helping close that gap?
Important question.
We're here to help, Venus.
Very important. So, thank you. I needed it. It's early for me. I'm not an early riser.
We appreciate it.
It's important because men's, like you said, men are the fathers, men are the husbands, we're the brothers, those are our moms, those are our friends, those are our colleagues. Men are an integral part of this solution. And at this moment, there are definitely more men in power than women. I just read a statistic that there's 8% of women that are CEOs of Fortune 500 companies. So men, it's important that men are a part of the solution and a part of this conversation and actually taking a role in leading this. So important, and I love that you asked that.
Venus, it's Vlad. The pay gap is even worse. It's more stark for black women. How has your experience as a black woman shaped your perspective on this issue?
Absolutely. It is very true that gap widens when you're a black woman, a woman of minority, and it's important that we talk about that as well. I'm just very happy that as an African-American woman that I can speak to this and make this known. So it's a very important role that I never thought I'd play. I just wanted to win Wimbledon. I got there. It wasn't equal, and it's just led me to just this place where I'm able to do more than I ever could have thought I could do for myself. It's just been a dream to be a part of it, to be honest.
And you are still doing it. You know the Oscars are Sunday night. Venus Williams, who are you rooting for in the Best Actor category? Who are you rooting for?
Maybe Will Smith.
No, Will Smith said playing your dad was one of the great honors of his life, and to sit at the table with you when he won a big award recently, he said was one of the highlights of his career. I'm wondering if your dad has seen the movie and what he thought, and if you're going to be going to the Oscars.
Yeah, I'm so happy to call Will not only the person who's memorialized my family story, but also my friend. Yeah. And he just portrayed my dad so closely. There were moments, and you know, all this was filmed during COVID, so there'll be moments where we were listening to the live stream or watching the live stream being filmed, and I would hear my dad's voice, and it gave me goosebumps how close he got to my father. And of course, we can't forget Ingenue and how she
played your
mom. She got it so right. We cannot forget the conversation. Then the girls who learned to play tennis. That's not easy to do. They learned and they made it realistic. And I'm so excited that we can share this moment at the Oscars.
Yeah, I think they nailed it.
Win,
has your dad seen the movie?
Yeah.
Did your dad see the movie? Did he watch?
Yeah, you know, my dad and I, we don't talk a lot about tennis, but he's definitely really proud of what has been achieved in the film. It's weird. We don't talk about work, but no, he's very proud.
All right, Venus Williams, thank you. We are always cheering you on. Thank you so much for coming on this morning. Thanks a lot.
All right, thank you.
Tennis player John McEnroe is one of the sport's greatest players, winning 77 singles titles and 7 Grand Slams during his career. But he's also remembered for his antics on the court and memorable phrases like, "You cannot be serious." McEnroe is sharing some thoughts on that in a new documentary.
All right, just keep yourself under control. Just go play. And then, boom, everything would go out the window. Don't do that. Do not do that. What are you, a stupid moron?
Well, no, the call came before the ball was played.
He never even called it.
Well, no, yes, he called it.
No, he never said anything.
Play a left, please.
Could I have the referee, please?
No,
Could I have the referee?
No, play on.
I'd like to have the referee.
I was crazed. Nervous energy flying all over the place. Intensity, anger.
Mr. McEnroe, you are getting a public warning. Now, please play on.
Mentally, I became really good at being able to compartmentalize to a degree. If you watch other players in most sports, if they go off the rails, it's very difficult to pull it back in.
How was that?
That was one of the things that I did better.
It is a really compelling watch. The documentary is called McEnroe, and it will air on Showtime, which, like CBS, is the division of Paramount Global. John McEnroe, good morning.
Good morning to you. I'm impressed you all. You claim to have watched it.
No, we did.
Go ahead.
Quiz us on your life.
Documentary.
I love the last 10 minutes, to be honest with you. I think it really solidifies who you are and talks about love and, as we said in the tease, vulnerability and all of those.
Thank you. I don't remember the last 10 minutes, but
it's brutally honest, and I wonder. You know, the documentary starts with you saying, "I am the greatest player of all time. And I remember when
do you know when I said it? Because 1984 or 5.
Okay, so it was a while ago.
It was a while ago, before these other guys, I don't know, Federer, Nadal, Djokovic, these guys seem to have gone by me, but at that moment.
Do you believe that today?
Do I believe today that I'm the greatest player that ever lived?
Was.
At that particular moment in time, it was quite a while ago. I had a lot, my hair was a different color, different times, the end of wood racket era. But at that moment, I thought I'd taken the game to another level.
We hear from you in the documentary about your father and how his, you wanted to please him, but we hear about his sort of controlling behavior and wanting to make you a winner. You also say in the documentary, I'm not an empathetic person, and that is my biggest flaw. I wonder if at 63 years old, you think you are empathetic today.
6 kids later, I'm better than I was. I wouldn't call that my strong suit. I sort of look at things fairly black and white. Although everything ends up being sort of a gray area, like when push comes to shove. I mean, look at politics, right? Everyone's so one side or the other, but it seemed like we'd be better off somewhere in the middle. And I think, in general, that would be better the way to lead life in that manner.
Yeah. Your wife, Patty, says at one point in the documentary that she married the super brat, that your reputation for outbursts, but she ended up with the good dad. You've been on this journey.
Well, that was actually my favorite line in the movie. She said, I married a bad boy who turned into a good man.
A good man, yeah.
So that to me was like, it gives me goosebumps even now. I mean, I got a second chance, which a lot of people can relate to in a marriage, for example. So that allowed me, I say in the documentary, but it's also obviously true, that it allowed me to sort of be me, like the person I wanted to be. As a person, it was more difficult. But I was younger the first time around.
Yeah. Well, the other thing that's really interesting is someone in the documentary dug up, I think your mom was the one who showed someone your report card or teacher review when you were in first grade. And John was deemed too hard on himself, which suggests that you were always you on the court. There was a part of you that would not accept anything less than perfection, and that unwillingness to allow yourself to just screw up is what led to this bad boy persona.
Maybe.
That sounds like an interesting theory. No, I think that, definitely, I wish my parents were still around, because they were sort of perfectionists. They were great parents. I felt love, so that's not the issue there. It's just, it never seemed like it was enough.
Right.
That you always had to do more. And I think that at some point that becomes a detriment as opposed to something that's positive. At first, you strive to succeed, and you need to be pushed in a way. I mean, living in the city, there's an energy in New York City. Why are you turn into the person you were? There's, I haven't spoken to Sigmund Freud's relatives lately. I've been fortunate. I haven't seen too many psychologists recently. But the bottom line is that you sort of like, how did he become the person he did when he started yelling at these umpires? And I don't think there's any simple answer.
Yeah.
Part of it, obviously, was my parents. They pushed me, and the fact that my dad was, number 2 out of 500 people at law school. My mom said, why aren't you number 1? So it always felt like you had to keep, going. And so I was like, 1 Wimbledon enough? 2, 3? Now I wish I'd listened to him more. These other guys have so many more. I'm like left, I'm like, what happened?
I have one quick question about the U.S. Open, since you're going to be covering it, right?
Go to black.
I know. So Nicholas Kyrgios, hothead now. What do you think of him?
I love Nick. He's a great kid. He could win the whole thing if he kept his head together. That's the bottom line. He moves the needle for us. But
you often won the whole thing, and you didn't keep your head together. So you're kind of counterpoint. We're going to go to black. They're going to take us off. I want to tell people the title. It's called McEnroe. You cannot be serious. We're out of time. Are you kidding me? It's available on Showtime.
I'm
out of here. We'll be right back.
Eubanks started the year ranked, listen to this number, 123 in the world, and now he is, what number, Nate?
30, Gayle.
He's number 30. He's here in New York City. He is getting ready for the next Grand Slam competition. That's the U.S. Open. It starts on Monday. So we spoke with him yesterday about his very big summer. I want to talk about the U.S. Open. We all do in just a second, but I just want to go back to Wimbledon for just a sec. Did you know how many people were talking about you? Did you know what was happening here in this country?
I think, fortunately, I didn't, and I think that probably helped me stay a little bit focused. I had friends reaching out. Obviously, my phone went off more during that 2 weeks than it probably ever has. I wanted to just kind of stay in the moment, enjoy each match one at a time, and focus on that. And then afterwards, when I got a chance to kind of decompress and really take a deep dive in my phone and see the amount of people that reached out, I think that's when I kind of realized, oh, this was something special.
And now as you sit here for the U.S. Open, are you feeling pressure?
Honestly, no.
You don't look like you're feeling pressure, I have to say.
No, and I've spoken about it, in recent weeks. I've said for about 4 or 5 years, I did feel pressure on myself. I felt like I wasn't achieving what I thought I would, and I felt like I was putting a lot of added pressure on myself. Probably over these past 12 months, I've just kind of embraced a more process mindset.
So at this point in your career, you don't feel pressure, you apply it, is basically what you're saying.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it.
I like that. All right, so we talked about the U.S. Open.
Yeah.
It's right around the corner. It's here. And you don't necessarily have your opponents yet, but you know who you might be facing or who you might have to go through. Carlos Alcaraz is one of them. Daniil Medvedev, Novak Djokovic. I think it's a dumb question to ask, do I think you can win this? Because I know your answer is going to be damn right.
Yes.
But what do you think it's going to take to get through this gauntlet of talented athletes?
I mean, I think that you name some of those names, that men's tennis is in a really, really fun place. But I think for me personally, I can only control what I can control. When the draw comes out, I know my first round opponent, all of my energy, just like in Wimbledon, is going to go to the first round opponent, and then we're going to take it one match at a time. I know in my game, if I'm able to serve well, I'm a threat to beat almost anybody. Okay. And I think that in the conditions here in New York, having the home crowd behind you is going to give me a little bit added support. But it's always going to just focus on me and what I can control. I can't control how well Novak is playing, how well Carlos is playing, how well Medvedev would be playing. I can control how well I prepare for it, and then we go out there and we're going to see what happens.
We were talking before the cameras even turned on, and you knew every player, every angle, how they work, what they do, and you even thought at one point before you turned it on, you've had this new life to your career, that you might go in and become an analyst. Is that something that still fascinates you?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And honestly, I think it's something that I kind of discovered a passion for when I decided to do it. When I kind of hit that point of frustration in 2021, I said, hey, if I'm still sitting at 200 by the end of 2022, I can look at something else because it's not nearly as fun.
Yeah, 200 doesn't sound so glamorous, does it?
It's not nearly. And the thing is, I think there's so many really, really good tennis players that are ranked around 250, 300, guys that are just working to try to get there. And hungry. And it's like you're going to tournaments and they're not nearly as glamorous. There's just little things that after a while of dealing with it, you hit a point of frustration where you're saying, you know what, I might be better suited just walking away. And then that's with the initial thought of jumping into commentary, just giving it a go to see. I didn't know if I would be good at it, and immediately said this is something I really, really enjoy doing.
I know, but now look at your ranking. I remember when you cracked the 100, what that meant to you. What does your ranking mean to you as you sit here today? What does it mean?
It's a testament of persistence, a lot of hard work, and just pretty much just never giving up. I think that's probably the biggest thing of just saying, hey, yeah, there were some tough times, there were ups and downs, but I stuck with it, and I think now I'm kind of reaping the benefits of that, and I want to continue that ranking going.
Whose advice has helped you the most, and whose it's meant the most? Because I'll bet a lot of people have reached out to you and said, Chris, you know what you ought to do?
That's a very good point. It's amazing. So many people all of a sudden have the answers and the insight when things are going well, and they want to try to offer it up to you. For me, I think it's probably just those closest to me. Coco Gauff is like a little sister to me. Her family is like a second family to me. And one thing that she's been saying for a long time, she said, you're good enough. Like, you're better than you're giving yourself credit for.
Did you doubt yourself?
Yeah, I 100% doubted myself. And I think she would oftentimes say it. I would kind of dismiss it because I was like, Coco, you don't realize how good, like, I'm out here playing these guys. I know these guys a little bit better. Like, you don't really understand. She goes, no, I practice with them too. I think you're just as good as a lot of these guys. And I think her support, her validation was probably one of the most meaningful because she had been telling me for years, and it's finally like she even had to hit me with a I told you so type of moment right after Wimbledon. So I probably have to say her.
You talked about it a little bit, but what is it like when you get into the zone? I like asking athletes this. Like when you know you are in your bag, everything that you are doing is working. Take us inside your mind and what the game feels like.
That's a great question. I'll say for me, there were a couple moments in Wimbledon where I kind of hit that space you're talking about. And it just seems like you're reading the game well. It seems like I know where my opponent's going to serve before he serves. it's almost like a blur. Usually, I'll have like 10 to 15 minutes of it throughout the course of a match, and then it kind of goes back down to normal. But there were some moments throughout Wimbledon where I held a zone for a set and a half or two sets. It's just so instinctual. It's just serve comes here, return goes here. First ball here, I'm going there. And there's no thinking involved. Everything just feels very much like second nature.
Gosh, when he was here, I just couldn't stop smiling because, number one, he's so damn likable.
Yeah,
Everywhere he goes, he just charmed everybody when he walks, and you really root for him.
But, Tony, there's a duality. He has this baby face.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
But on the court,
yeah, ferocious. He's got
ferocious.
that swagger.
He really does. We're cheering for him.
Yes, we are.
Hope he gets hot. He could really make a run.
You're right about that. And welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Of course. So, what does winning your first major at this point in your career feel like? What does it feel like to you?
It feels amazing, and I think I'm actually really glad that it happened this way because
Why?
I feel like when I was a lot younger, I felt like in order to it felt like I had to win a Grand Slam in order to kind of, in a lot of ways, not be a failure. I felt like I had a lot of doubt, and it felt like I needed to win one in order to be proud of
to
my
validate
accomplishments.
yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I did. I had to do a lot of work to kind of get past that because I don't even think I knew that was kind of becoming a belief.
What do you mean
of mine.
work? Like on the court or therapeutic?
Therapy.
Okay.
I did a lot of therapy, and I think it was even surprising to me, kind of some of the things that were coming up and I was actually saying. I was like, wow, I didn't even know that I had believed that.
And you think it made you a better player, huh?
Well, I think it just gave me the ability to play freely. And it kind of gave me a little bit more freedom on the court because I got to the point where I was so proud of my career already and I didn't need to win a Grand Slam in order to validate that.
When did you know in this match, or did you have a moment in this match that you thought, I got this?
Oh, that's a good question.
Because the last shot, you knew you had it, but did you have a moment in the match where you said, okay, I'm going to win this?
I think it was in the third set. I think I was up. It was either 3-2 or 4-3. And I just was like, wait, I'm in this. Like, I can actually win this. And then going into the last game, I felt really confident for some reason in that last game, and it kind of gave me the freedom to probably hit some.
Did you have a pep talk to yourself while you're out there? Were you talking to yourself in your head?
Honestly, basically the whole match, I just kept saying, be brave, and play how you want to play. And that was kind of just like a loop that was going on and on in my head.
Given what you're talking about, the mental part of tennis, I mean, Sabalenka she talks to herself, she says all sorts of things. You just sort of ignoring what she's doing and focusing on yourself?
Honestly, in the moment, you couldn't even tell you what's going on the other side of the net.
So locked in.
I love that.
Yeah, I think it's definitely, I'm kind of on my side of the court, and that's it.
And your husband is your coach.
Yeah.
Please talk to us about that. Because he played clearly, obviously. So how did that come about that he's your coach, and what is it like working with your husband? I love this shot, yeah.
He played as well. He actually had some injuries, and he had to retire about 2.5 years ago. And I didn't have a coach at the time. And I basically had to beg him to come with me because he said he was like, I don't like telling you what to do.
It is potentially tricky.
Yeah. And we had
There's some lines that can get blurred.
Exactly. And we had done such a good job when we were both playing to kind of stay partners and not really blur the lines of getting involved in each other's careers. But it's been so amazing. And to be able to win this and win it with him is just, I mean, it's incredible.
So does this motivate him to go into coaching even further? Like, you know, you won the big one. So he's probably at high demand right now.
Well, I'm definitely gonna, keep him for myself.
Yeah, for yourself.
Yeah.
Was this a dream of yours as a little kid? When did you start playing? How did you start playing? Did you say, one day I'm gonna win this?
Well, so I actually started when I was 4, and I was walking through my parents' bedroom. Venus Williams was on TV, and I said, I really like that tennis dress. I didn't know what tennis was. No one in my family plays, and I said, I want the outfit. So my mom said, we'll get you an outfit,
But you
have to play. And I mentioned it like 3 weeks later, and again, it's a 4-year-old, and
Yeah.
she was like, okay, I guess we'll play tennis.
Shout out to mama.
Yeah, thanks, Mom.
What would that 4-year-old do with the $3.5 million you just won?
She'd probably buy a lot of tennis dresses.
You know, you talked about going to therapy. When I played, I also defined myself by my failures. I chased a Super Bowl trophy and never won it. 11 years in the NFL, I didn't get close. And that stuck with me. I had a void that I had to deal with after I retired. There are a lot of young athletes that will mark their success based on what they achieve. What is your advice to them? Because they are going, it's inevitable, they will fail. What is your advice?
Well, I think what you said is so important. You have to work on figuring out where that void is. And I think if you can do that while you're still playing, you give yourself the ability to actually really enjoy what you're doing.
That's so good.
And I think that's really, as athletes, what we all want. We want to
play free.
To play free and to enjoy yourself. And I know so many people say that, and it's like, oh, if you're just having fun.
Yes.
But it's so true. And I think if you're able to go out there and just really focus on yourself and have fun and play free, you just enjoy yourself so much more, and it makes the experience so much better.
So good.
Where's this trophy going in your house? I'm just curious, because where do we put it? In the living room?
I have no idea. I've been trying to think like,
about.
where do I have
Time to
space for this? It can't just like live in a closet somewhere.
No.
It's probably just going to be like.
Put it on the mantle. Madison
be on
Keys,
display
thank you so
somewhere.
much. We
Bravo,
appreciate it.
Madison.
We'll be right back.
For more than 40 years, Billie Jean King has been a groundbreaking tennis champion and a symbol of civil and equal rights. She'll represent the United States next month at the opening ceremonies of the Sochi Winter Olympics as one of 5 members of the U.S. presidential delegation. Billie Jean King, good morning.
Good morning. It's great to be here.
This delegation includes 3 openly gay members, and of course, a lot of people view it as a gesture to the Russian government, which recently passed strict anti-gay laws. Did you discuss that with the president in any way?
No, did not. We have not been told what to say, not to say, which is kind of nice, actually.
So what do you see your role as?
I think our first job is to represent our country and our president, and also our job is, the Olympics are really first and foremost about the athletes. And I don't want anyone to lose sight of that, because these athletes have worked so hard. I mean, I kind of daydreamed the other day about what it felt like when I was an athlete, a pro athlete, and how much work is involved in the emotional investment and the time investment. So I don't want us ever to detract, but our job is to go and cheer for them, and say we're here to support you in any way we can. And I'm looking forward to meeting all the athletes, because I think there's some future leaders there as well.
When we spoke with you back in August, we asked you if athletes should protest, and back then you said that's sort of a hard one. What do you think now? And I would have to imagine that Rule 50, which a lot of people don't realize exists in the Olympics, plays a big role.
Yes, I think that probably came from the fact when John Carlos and Tommy Smith raised their arms about civil rights, human rights back in '68. I think the rule probably was written after that, Rule 50.
Because it bans all political demonstrations.
They're not supposed to protest or demonstrate, and if they do, they can have their medals stripped and they can be sent home. But I also think some of the athletes will probably have their say. And Ashley Wagner, for instance, has already been talking. Bodie Miller's spoken out in favor of all of us gay people, and thinking it's just ridiculous, which it is.
If you were an athlete at these games, what do you think you'd do?
Knowing me?
Yeah.
I would try to do it in a diplomatic way, but knowing my personality, I would talk about it.
You'd have to do something.
I would do something. Knowing me, I'd try to mobilize others, because usually I like team type of situation. I grew up in team sports. Tennis was my last sport that I ever played. So I think I would, if the other athletes were willing to do something, I probably would. But I'm not in that position. My job is very different. Our job is to be there for the athletes. And I think we're representing our country and our president, we have to be very careful to do the right thing always. And I would worry about that as an athlete too, but it'd be a little different as an athlete.
You mentioned worry. I want to switch gears and ask you a little bit about security, because in past weeks there have been 2 big bombings in neighboring provinces. Is security something that could, I don't know, cast a shadow over these games?
I think it's always a possibility, but I think you have to go. I mean, I have to go. It's no brainer when the president Obama particularly, who has been so fantastic about supporting diversity and inclusion and universal acceptance of everyone.
Right.
If he asked me to do anything, I'd do it, because I think he's just so much for us and for all people that he's just been a great leader in that respect.
Billie Jean, you have 39 Grand Slam titles, but you're going to the Olympics. I mean, not as an athlete, but you're still going. What does that mean?
It's fantastic. You know, I didn't get to play in the Olympics because tennis wasn't in the Olympics.
Right.
But I did get to go as the coach, or they call us captains, but we're really the coach, in 1996 and 2000 in Australia, in Sydney. And it was an amazing experience. And there's nothing like it when you get all these athletes from all over the world together. They get so excited, you know, getting to meet each other.
Yeah.
They love to trade the pins. You know, everybody's got pins from all their countries. It is wonderful to watch. And it's all about relationships and building relationships. And the great thing about sports, just like music and art and dance, is that we can really have we have our universal language. And if we could just have it every day throughout the world, it would just change the whole world. But listen, things that are worthwhile are never easy. So I'm looking forward to the trip and going with Brian and Caitlin. Very, very fortunate.
Well, as you once famously said, 98% of winning is just showing up. Right?
I do. I really think that's where I always say that to the players. You guys, 98% of winning is showing up. Show up. And when I say show up, I mean with all of yourself.
Yeah.
Not just physically kind of be there. Just
Right.
be there emotionally, physically. You know, really give it 100%.
We'll have a great trip, and thanks so much for being with us again.
Thank you. It's great seeing you.
Billie Jean King, thanks so
you.
much.